Marcus Juniel, the DC Reign, the GSFL, and thank you for being here. So, how long have you been around football?
I've been around football for approximately close to 36 years. Been playing since I was 7 years old. I've been in and out as a player, as a coach, and it's been rewarding.
So, how did you end up coaching?
I ended up coaching because I actually had kids that were actually being coached in a little league team, and just from the fundamentals and the facts that I've been a player for so long, I didn't like the way coaching was actually being proceeded. I didn't like the way things were actually taking place. As an assistant coach on that team, it was great, but I still felt that things needed to be better, and so I took things more on initiative to go higher.
Okay, so what kind of opportunities has coaching, provided for you?
It's given me the opportunity to go pretty much around the whole country, coaching, seeing different aspects of the United States of America. It's took me to the NFL, of course, and it's also taken me to places where being around kids and being around young men to see how they develop. So the opportunities helped me become better socially, mentally, and physically, because you want to keep yourself in shape. You don't want to be the fat coach that's telling everybody what to do.
So what kind of lessons do you think you could share with your kids now, that you've had these opportunities? What can you teach them?
Coaching takes a lot of discipline. You really, really have to be disciplined in what you're doing. You have to be scripted when you come up onto the playing field. When you're coaching anybody, you better know that it's a program. You got a limited amount of time to actually get everything that you need to get done on that field. And on top of that limited amount of time, you have to get the most out of your players being productive. So you really, really have to be a professional, and you really got to get after it hard. So as in terms of teaching my kids that, they have to have a work ethic, and they have to realize that you better be organized. You better be organized.
So in your opinion, what makes a successful coach?
The organization of a coach is where it comes down to. You have to be on crossing your T's, dotting your I's. You better be on top of your game. If not, players are going to see through that right away. They'll know right away if you know what you're talking about and if you're on top of it. They also know what they're able to get away with and what they're not going to be able to get away with you.
So what would you say is the most rewarding part about coaching football?
I'm a player's coach because I played for so long. So I feel that the best thing that I can bring to the person that I'm coaching is that I bring a lot of knowledge of the game, actually almost at every position. And on top of that, it actually becomes you become friends. You become great friends with these guys. I have kids that I have coached that I coached when they were 7 years old. Now I see them in the airport. They're 18, 19 years old, and they're like, hey, coach. They still call me coach. They still look for my advice. How can they improve? How can they be better? So that's the great aspect of it.
And are some of them still involved in football themselves?
Yes, a lot of them are still involved in football. But I think a majority of them would be probably about 50%. I believe that kids shouldn't be playing football all the time, from the age 7 all the way up. Some of them have a love for the game, and they'll actually go all the way up to high school, but then it becomes work. When you get into high school, it becomes work. It's no longer the fun and having fun, because now you're competing at a bigger and higher level. With that, kids either step up or they back out.
So what would you say the most challenging part about coaching football is?
I think the most challenging part behind it is, that's a pretty good question. I think there's many different challenging parts behind it. Getting along with your staff, first of all. If you're an assistant coach, you have to buy into the gentleman that's a head coach of the team, that's running the team, into his philosophy and how he wants to run it. Doesn't matter what you think about it, your opinion can be weighed, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be done. So you got to have patience with that. Second thing is going to be patience with players. Player may not be producing the way that you want him to produce during practice, but then come game time, he produces way above and beyond. And so the weighing part behind it is, wow, what do I do? Do I sit him because he looks horrible in practice, but he plays good during the games? That's what we call the hot and cold effect out there on the field. The other thing I would feel would be structure. The structure of the team, how it is set up on the hierarchy, it all comes down to the leadership. It will come down from the ownership, down to the head coach, down to assistant coaches. If any of that is out of order, you can expect chaos, because the first thing that anybody's going to happen is when you start losing, players point the fingers at the coaches.
Yeah.
You start winning, and the players want to take all the credit.
So, in terms of the hot cold effect, you know, do you ever have players you feel that take it personal?
Always. Every player should take it personal. It's their job to make themselves better, and if they don't take it personal, they probably shouldn't be playing this game.
Yeah.
You should feel like if I'm being benched, it's because I'm not being productive out there, I'm not producing what the coaches need. There's two things that are going to happen. Either you're physically going to be attributed to get out there and play. Football is, I would say, 40% physical, 60% mental. I can have a regular player and make him a great player if he knows what he's doing out there. He will blow up plays before they even happen because he recognizes them right away. So being the most gifted and physical attribute athlete out there doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best player on the team.
So, what's your preparation like just throughout the week?
Throughout the week, typically, if we're practicing consistently, it will start about 8 o'clock in the morning. Everything will be warm-up drills, you know, stretching and things like that, calisthenics. And then we'll break out into individuals, which will mean the linebackers go with the linebackers coach, the defensive backs go with the DB coaches, the quarterbacks go with their quarterback coaches. And that'll typically run for about a good 30 minutes. Then you'll bring in different aspects where you run the DBs together along with the linebackers. And then you'll run the linebackers with the linemen. Then the same thing on the offense. The offense will be the offensive line running snaps with the running backs and the quarterbacks, and then they'll bring in the wide receivers. So by the time it's all said and done, if you're getting in 2 practices that day, you should be done and bring everybody as individuals step by step in together. So the defense comes together and then they're all clicking with one another. Then the offense is doing the same, and then they collaborate, and then that's a full squad practice where you're actually bumping offense against defense.
And is there any like special preparation for as far as game day goes, or is it you pretty much keep everything the same?
If you don't have everything scripted before game day and you don't have everything set in time by, you are behind the 8 ball. You better have it way before. Usually if I see an opponent and we know that we face that opponent 2 weeks from the time that we play them, I have stuff done a week before the game. I know exactly what I've been looking at them. I've been looking for their weaknesses. I'm looking what they typically run all the time, what they do on certain situations, how they attack offense, or how their defense sits back and tries to read offense. By that time, most teams have tendencies, they really do. They're either going to be a strong run team or they're going to be a passing team. And if that's the case, we will set our defense to face that, but I will flip the script in a minute, because if they're watching that and they see that we're a strong defensive team that stops the run, they're going to try to throw the ball on us. And that's when I'll take a DB aside and be like, okay, this is what you expect. Time to take the ball, snatch it out of the air, or pick a 6 and run it back. And that time, typically, it takes away from the other opponent's team.
Marcus Juniel, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Power to the people. We living in that 31st century, futuristic.